Welcome back to the Surviving UX podcast. I'm Meg Kramer, your host, and my co-host is Jessamine Edwards. And this is the second episode in our mini episode series about getting ready to go to a conference. In our last episode, we talked about how Jessamine and I are going to a conference called UX Y'all. And we have a short presentation that we're getting together, getting ready. We just spent the last I don't know, 2 hours, an hour and a half
Oh,
on working on a
on a
presentation.
10-minute presentation.
Yeah, on a 10-minute presentation. So I'll just
We're
put it
doing
out
the
there.
work.
How are you feeling? How are we feeling? What have we been doing? And how are we feeling about it?
Okay. I am eating my own dog food right now
Uh-huh.
because I feel like what we're doing right now is we're going through all these past interviews and quotes that we've gotten from our guests, and we're trying to sift through them and see what jumps out at us the most as like the most powerful. And some of the things that were crazy is how some people said almost the exact same thing.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the things that we've been chatting about, like, is this idea of somebody being afraid and coping with the fear of other people seeing them as a bad designer.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just thinking back, like, to times earlier on where I either was not afraid of being seen as a bad designer, and I probably was, or I was just fine, damn it, and somebody did see me as a bad designer and I kind of had to defend myself. But what about you? Have you ever felt like a bad designer?
All the time.
Had someone really? Even now? No,
Less now, of course.
less
Yeah,
now.
less
Right.
now. But I mean, not no spoilers, but I do feel like the designs are sometimes bad and can sometimes be bad at the start
Oh,
and
yeah.
get better. But sometimes they can be
Wait,
bad at the end too. Just kind of depends.
what makes you design something bad? When you have designed something bad, why was it bad? What got you there?
Ooh, good question. Some incomplete knowledge, like I didn't have exposure to like everything about the experience or even everything that maybe the business wanted to do or the platform was capable of or not capable of. Like just an incomplete understanding that can definitely like set you up for having some like shortcomings in the design and make it really frustrating.
Hmm.
I mean, sometimes it's just, being green in a space that maybe
Mm.
you haven't worked in before. And then I would say like the last and perhaps most common thing in my experience is that you have a design and you really like it and it looks good and you're doing the right things, you're making the right decisions, or
Yeah.
you're going ahead with good principles, but for business reasons, engineering reasons, timeline reasons, they can't actually build it that way. So you end up creating a backup, a mock-up that's that
Compromise.
compromise. Yeah. So anyway,
Yes.
that was a
Literally
little
doing that right now. Trying
wait,
not to,
doing that
yeah.
in your work or are you feeling like our
Yes, very
presentation is
much
that?
so.
Oh,
No,
okay.
no. Doing it at work,
um
compromising.
yeah.
But
Well,
I
I
yeah.
feel pretty tired. Like I feel like this is a lot of work. And I guess like
Yeah.
that is something that I forget that, or maybe good for folks to know. And Jessamine has been pushing me on kind of like making it more grounded in stuff we've heard and stuff we've talked to people about, as opposed to me just wanting to like say silly things and put silly gifs in a presentation, which to be honest is a lot more work than finding a bunch of gifs to represent like your own personal thoughts. So
Maybe there's room for some more memes and gifs. Maybe I'm being too much of a
yeah.
hard
No, you're
hard.
not. And also the other reason why you're not is because I don't know, we haven't even talked about this. Did you get the email from the session organizers?
Yeah.
About like, so they're like, limit the number of animations in your deck because
Oh
we
yeah, I did see that.
yeah. So they sent us this, so a little window behind the scenes. They sent us like an email that was like, hey, this is like the details for all the presenters. And typically, like when you present, it's a really good idea to go ahead of time and go to the room you're going to be presenting in and make sure your file works and all that stuff. So anyway, that is some of the content that's in this email. One thing though that was at least surprising to me, I hadn't seen this kind of thing before, was that they're going to merge everybody's presentations together into one
Oh, in
big
one
Google
big
slide.
deck.
Yeah. So like and they're like, yeah, so like you need to be finished by a certain date and you can't update last minute. Um, that's
Maybe that's
different
a
for
good
me.
thing. We
I
can relax.
I agree. I think that then we can kind of just tweak, like practice and
Yeah.
tweak what we're going to say, but we don't necessarily get a chance to like update the slides. So I think
Yeah.
that I think there's some good parts about that, but it is somewhat new. I think for me, I think most of the things that I've done in the past, you come with your little presentation or you come with your own computer and you present from there, but it
I
looks
don't
like
I
we'll be
truly don't understand why they wouldn't let people just do that. Like seriously.
um
I don't understand this like approach of we need to get your slides up front a week ahead and then
it
you
did
can
seem
come in and talk to them. Like why not just
yeah.
get them after?
It did
But
seem odd to me as well, so
oh well.
I'm glad that you said that because I was like, this seems weird. Anyway, so that's
Mm.
a little behind the scenes. I don't know. What else are we thinking about doing at this stage? We're 2 weeks out
Two
of
weeks
like
out. Yeah, three
2 weeks.
3 weeks,
Three,
two
it's
and a half
three, but
weeks.
like two really of like any more prep that we can actually do. And then on that third week, we'll probably just like, yeah, because our slides are due. Just be real like refining and traveling and doing our real day jobs as well. Um, so yeah, what else are we thinking about?
Yeah.
I think we're at the stage. Okay, I'm going to answer my own question. I feel like we're at the stage where there's still so much in play. I get this way with
Mm.
so many projects
Hmm.
is when I'm a certain distance out from like the deadline or the time that I'm supposed to be done, I am still like considering all these options. I also did this with my
Hmm.
birthday. I was like,
Mm.
there's so many things I could do. But then like
Yeah.
closer and closer to the birthday, I was like, well, there's only so much I can do. Like I can't, you know, get more party favors or even the day of all the all of the ice cream melted. All of it melted.
Oh.
Every single thing
Oh.
of ice cream melted because apparently I don't know how to put ice in coolers or something
Oh.
on a hot day. But at that point, I was like, you know what? People can either eat melted
You
ice
can
cream
drink
or
it.
they can go get their own like sweets later. But like, I can't really do anything about it. So anyway, my point of this is that as we get closer, I think it will be easier because we'll
Mm.
have less time to like play around with things. But that's just kind of my personal thing.
So
How are
wait,
you
so what
feeling?
question for you? When you prepare for presentations,
Mhm.
are you the kind of person that likes to wing it, or do you like to prep?
No, I like to write
Okay.
quite a bit, and then I like to read what I've written while recorded. Because I don't always stick to what I've written, so kind of read it, but I'll talk as well. And then
Okay.
I like to go back and listen to the recording and be like, okay, what can I say that feels more natural than just my writing?
Mm.
And so
Okay.
that's like generally what I like to do is like I
Interesting.
like to
It's very
start
brave of you to listen
from
back
a
to your own
writing.
recordings. I don't know if
Really?
I've ever tried that.
Oh man, I don't mind my own voice. I must be a
Ooh.
narcissist. Anyway, but okay, you get some time here on our short mini episode. How are
Mm.
you feeling? What are you thinking about?
I think that we have a lot of good things to say. I think we have
Too
a
many.
hopeful message. No, not too many. I think it's more just like what's gonna hit for
Yeah.
people.
What is gonna
You know,
hit? That's
what's
right.
gonna hit, what's gonna make, because I'm like literally thinking back to other conferences that I attended and
Mm-hmm.
what I walked away with.
Mm-hmm.
And I swear to God, I was thinking this one conference, it was some UXPA something. And I was like at a table, like had just done a keynote presentation and people were just chatting among themselves. And I was getting up from my chair to walk away and probably find something to eat. And I overheard this conversation. I think it was two researchers talking, and they were talking about like usability testing of interfaces that had icons and words, or that just had words, because this is around the time that the hamburger menu made its appearance and became this like nightmare for all because it was everywhere, but nobody could use it. Nobody knew what it was. And so some people used the hamburger menu and then added the word menu
Mm-hmm.
because otherwise like it just would fail constantly. And this woman was just, she was saying to her friend, like, pictures and words, pictures and words together. People understand pictures and words together. And that just like etched right into my brain of like, duh,
Yeah.
because there was always this battle about having a clean interface. We want to clean it up. We don't want too much text, right? You've always heard that. You hear that all the time in presentations. And it shows up with interfaces too, of like not too much text, not too much instructions. And then you get these interfaces where it's like, what am I looking at? What is this? Because there's no context, there's no instructions, there's no text, and they just want these cute icons. And they think that if you just get the right
Yeah.
icon, it'll do the job.
So
And
wait, this
this,
wasn't
yeah,
even a presentation though. This
it
was just
wasn't
like
even a presentation. It
a
was
random
just
thing you
this
overheard.
woman like stating the obvious. Words and pictures together are the best. And I was just like, no shit. Like every like kids picture book, right? Like every diagram, you don't just put up a picture and hope people get it. You
Mhm.
don't just put up words, you put them together. And I was just like, oh, speak the truth. Like this is the truth. What she speaks, it's simple. It's
Yeah.
so simple.
Well,
And yeah, it
yeah,
really affected me.
I think it kind of relates to something like when we were working just now earlier today on some of the headlines for our slides. Like you want to make these phrases that hit and land,
Yeah,
like you were saying, and are, pictures and words or something people can, like, these nuggets that people can take
simple.
away. But the more
Yes.
you like kind of like narrow it down, like the harder it is to be unique or specific. Not specific, but like, we were trying to kind of be less wordy and narrow these headers down.
Yeah.
And then at that point I was like, well, it feels like this could apply to anything or any profession. Whereas, so or they become maybe even like we don't want to err on the, or we don't want to enter the area of being like too cliche.
Mm.
Yeah. So, well, these are supposed to be mini episodes. Clearly, we could talk forever. I probably, because we're avoiding some of the actual work, but this is another like window into the process. We will be back in about a week. We'll do another recording in about a week. Hopefully, at that point, we'll be even farther along with our prep. Anything else you want to say, Jasmine, before we wrap up?
I I don't I don't have anything interesting to say. I guess I'll just say that like this is hard work. We're doing the hard work. Thank God we're doing it together because I don't
Yeah.
think I could do this on my own.
I feel like I only have, I said this earlier to you, but I feel like I only have ideas like when I start talking to you. And like when I'm just alone, I'm like, no ideas are coming.
I'm just like I think I just have too short of attention span. I'm just like bang out some slides, I'm done, walk away. And
Hmm.
I don't have the patience to revisit and retool and revise
Hmm.
over and over. But because we're doing it together, we are challenging each other and pushing each other to like be like, well, is that really good enough to say? Is that really meaningful enough? Does that
Hmm.
really land? And that is getting us farther along than we could have done on our own. I know it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that we should set a goal for ourselves that next week we should try to practice end to end the whole thing
Okay.
with our talk track, with our transitions, everything. So I think that's
Yeah.
where we should be by next week. All right,
Okay.
friends, friend Jessamine and friends audience. We're gonna try to hold ourselves to it. And this has been another mini episode. We'll see you next week.
Yeah. Accountability buddies. Accountabilities.
Accountability.
Accountability buddies.
All right.
Bye bye.
This mini episode is by Meg Kramer and Jessamine Edwards. Our theme music is Opus Number 1 by Tim Carlton and Derek Deal. Our mini episode series will run from late August 2024 to about September 20th, 2024. But if you're listening to this not in real time, you can listen to our next episode right away.